All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday, February 15th, 2021. This morning, we're going to be talking about victory and victory not always being the best lesson. The victory is not always the lesson. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Man, I'm running a little slow this morning. I got a little bit of the sniffles over the weekend, so bear with me, guys. I apologize if I sound a little funky this morning, but man, last night when I was going to bed, I didn't think I was even going to make it this morning for Clubhouse or to be here. But you know what? I set my alarm anyway. And when I woke up, I was like, you know what? This ain't so bad. Let's just roll with it and see what happens. And, 4:30 a.m., I got up. I actually hit the snooze button a couple of times in full transparency. And then I got up, I jumped on Clubhouse and rolled there until 7 o'clock and then switched over and got to work putting this show together and thinking about what I was going to talk to you guys about this morning. And this topic is one that I think will be relatable to a lot of people. And it is the victory is not always the lesson. So what does that mean? It means, in general, guys, success is a bad teacher, right? And we learn a lot more in life from those challenging things that we have than we will ever learn from the wins. And that's just how it is, right? None of us like the losses. None of us like the adversity. Sometimes it's very overwhelming, the amount of adversity that we face, and sometimes that adversity can last for an extended period of time. Sometimes that can be a heck of a season in your life, right? But as we learn to embrace that adversity and as we learn to appreciate that feeling of discomfort as it relates to the growth that we're experiencing from that discomfort, man, can we learn a ton. It's a quote that I shared this morning that I grabbed from a buddy of mine who is mentored by Jim Tressel. It's exhausting to be great. And really, to be great, you have to be willing to go through these periods, these seasons that are extremely uncomfortable, right? And when you learn that to do anything big or significant in your life, that you are going to go through periods that feel extremely unnatural and extremely uncomfortable, you will start to experience that growth. I have trained myself over the past few years to really get excited about adversity, right? Because I know, number one, that there are massive lessons in every experience of adversity, every season of adversity. But also I realize that so many people will quit in that period of adversity. So my competition slims as adversity happens, right? It's one of those things. And so people ask me today, like, how do you juggle all the things that you juggle? And the truth is, the answer I give is almost always the same. Like, I don't really know. I've just tried to pack more in as the time has passed. I've learned to have tools that allow me to do it better, that allow me to stay focused through the chaos. But the truth is, I don't know. I've just embraced that adversity, embraced the challenge of difficulty, right? Of trying to juggle a million things. And it doesn't mean that I get it right. It means that I'm in pursuit of getting it right. I'm always searching for how to get it right. So that's the topic we're going to dig into this morning. I want to say good morning to some folks. We got a bunch of people on here live this morning. Ryan Austin, what's happening, brother? Christina, good morning. Brian Sharp, good morning to you. Mark Farelli, good morning. Hal Davis, my man. Hopefully this snow is not coming your way, brother, because we got it coming down here in Pittsburgh this morning, and we've got a whole bunch of it coming between today and tomorrow. So you guys have gotten a bunch up there, I believe. Hopefully it's not coming your way again. Sharon Falk, same with you. I think you're in New Jersey, so hopefully it's not coming your way. Tammy Clark, good morning to you. I know it's not snowing in Arizona, so you are safe and sound out there. Randy, good morning to you. Jared, Rick, Rodney, Spencer, Leonard, man, Ryan Austin. We got everybody on here this morning. Greg, Lynn, man, you guys are awesome. What a blessing to have all you guys hanging with me here this morning. So let's go back to what I was saying before. So the victory is not always in the lesson. Success, guys, is a terrible teacher. Success creates comfort. Adversity creates discomfort. Where do we know that growth comes from? We know that growth comes from those periods of time where we experience discomfort. As Leonard was talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's discomfort, guys. It's the losses that teach you. It's, in the case of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's having to submit, right? It's having to tap out. It's having to lose. That's where the growth comes from. Once you get beat, you know how not to get beat the next time. So success creates comfort. Adversity creates discomfort. Losing yourself and or seeing someone else lose will always be a much better teacher than success. I find myself in this trap frequently, right? You start to experience, you start to get to the next level, and man, that next level feels pretty comfortable, doesn't it? And then you start to look and say, like, what am I doing, man? I'm giving back the momentum that I've worked so hard to get. But the victory, the real victory, guys, is in those lessons, because even in a successful venture, there's still a million lessons along the way, and the victory lies in those. The real victories in life, the real growth in life, the real progress, all comes from those adversities, right? Those things that you ask questions about. That also is adversity. It's a piece of information that you're missing. It's something that's going against you that you are missing. And then you read a book, or you ask a question, or you get a mentor that solves that problem for you. And that adversity is removed. That, friends, is where the victory lies. It lies in achieving something that you didn't think you could, solving a problem that sometimes you didn't even know existed. Think about that. The lessons in life rarely come from the victories. One of the things I wrote down this morning is victory requires you to write a speech and learn how to accept recognition. The real lessons in life come from those moments where there is no clear path of what to do. 2020 is a phenomenal example of true victory. Those people that were able to navigate the storm of 2020 and create success for themselves, for their companies, for their families, there were some serious lessons in 2020. How many of you guys can relate to that? Leave a comment if you can relate to the lessons that you learned in 2020, and then think about how those lessons will create victories in the future. How will the lessons of 2020 and the pressure that you were put under, how will those lessons create massive victories in your future? So where does growth come from? Here's the things that stand out to me, just the words that, stick out when you think about lessons and adversity and times in your life or seasons where things are really difficult. Death, losing anything, accidents, losing your job, a job loss, lawsuits. We go through those in construction. You learn from those things, right? You learn a ton from those things. But the other victories in the adversity, as Sharon just mentioned in the comments here that I mentioned earlier, the lessons come from those pieces of missing information those pieces of missing information that you need. How do you get those pieces of information? By listening to things like this, by connecting with people, finding the right mentors, surrounding yourself with the right people that are going to propel you forward in life. Those people that are going to remind you not to get too full of yourself, because the victory is not always the lesson. When you're winning, you have to be careful that you are not taking your eye off the ball. Don't forget what got you there. I see this so often in people. We're all guilty of it, but I see this so often in people where they think they've made it because they've gone from point A to point B being so much better than where they were before, that they think to themselves, man, I finally made it. I can finally take my foot off the gas. I want you guys to remember this and imagine this in your head. Man, the mountain that you're climbing is steep in life. And the minute that you take your foot off the gas, climbing that mountain in the vehicle that you are driving, and you don't have any forward movement, what's going to happen to that vehicle? You will start drifting backwards, and it will happen fast. So be careful when you're winning. Be careful when you're winning, because when you start to get comfortable on that climb up the mountain, your car is going to start to drift backwards and you might not even notice it. So I want you guys to remember that as you're making progress, the more progress you make, the steeper that mountain gets, right? The closer that you're getting to those goals, the more adversity you're going to face, the more resistance you're going to feel. That resistance is called growth. The stronger it gets, the closer you are to breaking through to something new. I've been experiencing that myself a lot lately. It's like, man, how do I get from this place to this place that I know is so close? I can feel it. I can sense it. Everybody around me is saying it. So I think about, how do I get to that place? And I'm going to tell you what I do is I start evaluating what's going on around me. I start looking at the people that are around me, what those people are saying. Do I need to create some distance with some people, bring other people closer? Do I need to find a new mentor that's able to take me from here to here? Do I need to meet with the mentors I already have more frequently? When I'm facing that resistance, I realize that there are massive lessons that I have to learn to break through that. There's information missing. If I can get that information and learn that lesson, I will create massive success. And by the way, so isn't it true then, if I learn all of those things and I'm able to break through and I get to that next level, I get to that victory, isn't it true then that the lesson is not in the victory at all? The lesson was in the journey to it. So the victory, guys, is not always the lesson. In fact, it's rarely the lesson. Success is a bad teacher. But the journey to success is an excellent teacher. You have to be willing to sit in that fire, to sit there in that discomfort and allow yourself to immerse in it and think about what it takes to get out of that fire. What does it take to get to that next step? What is the thing or things that it takes? What is the missing piece? Is it a person? Is it a piece of information? Is it something you need to learn about? Is it, I need to learn how to market better? I need a better sales team. I need a sales team, period. I need a person to handle X, Y, or Z for me so that I can get to the next step. Is it, I need to remove someone from this situation? There's a million things that you have to look at when you're that close, when the resistance is that strong. When you figure that out Those are the pieces of adversity that you have the ability, and you control the outcome. You have the ability to overcome that. What it takes is taking a step back. I've said this, I'm like a broken record saying this, but the best thing you can do in life sometimes is slow down to speed up. Take a step back and figure out what it is that you're missing. Read some books, get a new mentor, get new information, change your surroundings, go on a trip somewhere for a weekend and think. You have to do something to change the path so that you can understand what the next sensible step is, so that you can get to that victory, so that you can learn the lessons on the way to the victory. And remember, I said it once, I'll say it again. Victory, all it does is require you to write a speech and learn how to accept recognition. Speeches don't do much for us. They don't do much for us. They're only for a moment. But the process of greatness, the process of pursuing victory, pursuing greatness, it's constantly in front of us, right? And when we learn to get enthusiastic about adversity, when we learn to shift that challenge mentally into a victory before it even becomes a victory, realizing that that challenge is a gift. The victory comes from overcoming a challenge. If any of you have played sports, you remember winning a championship. Hopefully everybody here has experienced winning a championship of some sort in some way, shape, or form. Ask yourself this question: which championships, which victories do you remember the most? You remember the victories the most that were the most difficult to achieve. The ones that provided the most lessons, that helped you discover a better version of yourself in the process. There's a quote that says, everybody wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to get cut. This is what we're talking about, guys. The victory is not always the lesson. The lesson comes from what you are willing to persevere through. And the lessons that you teach to everybody around you by how you handle that adversity. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. I think that in this day and age where we are so interconnected and you are able to see, so much success around you, you're connected to all of these successful people and influencers and all this stuff, and you see all this winning happening. Man, there's a lot of losing that goes on behind that winning. I talk to a lot of those people. They have challenges too. Could be physical, it could be mental, could be financial. I just heard a story this week about a billionaire that is going through something that I would never want to experience. And everybody from the outside in would look at that person and say, man, he's got it made. But he is dealing with challenges that I personally wouldn't even know how to navigate. But I bet you this. I bet you after he is done navigating those challenges, that there is a very, very high likelihood that that man will end up in a much better place, because he will learn the lessons in that process of untangling this knot in his life that's in front of him. And once you untangle that knot, you always know how to untangle it just a little bit better the next time, don't you? So think about that, guys. When you are winning in your life, don't spend too much time celebrating. Don't spend too much time writing that speech. Don't even spend too much time on the recognition, on accepting the recognition. The real lessons in life come from those moments where you are the most uncomfortable. when there is no clear path to what to do. And so, as Sharon said, she's feeling a little tangled. That's a good thing, girl. That means that you've gotten yourself to a place of discomfort. So if you don't feel uncomfortable in your life often, you are probably not doing big enough things. And you know, there's a governor on your life when things feel a little out of control, right? When you start feeling a little out of control on this road of life, you have a built-in governor that will slow you down. Just slow down a little bit. Slow down to ultimately speed up. And you will be just fine. Because you were given every gift when you entered this world that you need to be able to untangle these things. The victory is not always the lesson. The victory is in the path up to the victory itself. It's in untangling yourself. It's in getting into a mess and figuring out how to get out of it. And here's the other thing that I will tell you. I've been through plenty of adversity, and the adversity continues to get stronger, right? As you continue to try and climb a little bit higher in life, that adversity feels a little bit stronger every time, right? You get into bigger challenges, bigger problems, bigger things that you have to deal with along the way. It's normal. Just calm down, realize that it happens to everyone. And that if you're not experiencing adversity, you are probably not challenging yourself enough. Discomfort comes from places that you're not used to being. Discomfort equals growth. Get excited about it. Most people quit when it gets uncomfortable. You're separating yourself from average when you feel discomfort. Get excited when you're dealing with a problem. Get excited. Don't say, poor me. Say, why me? What am I supposed to what am I supposed to learn here? What is the lesson? Ed Mylett says things don't happen to me, they happen for me. Every single thing that happens in your life is a gift. I posted a story on my Instagram this morning that says God is never late. We are just impatient. That's perspective, folks. God is never late. We're just impatient. There are things that we have to learn. We are designed to learn. We just don't like it. So I want you guys to think about that. Think about the adversity and what a gift it is. Think about where the victory actually lies in your life. It's not in the wins, guys. It's in the path. Embrace the journey. Fall in love with the journey. Vicky, we're all guilty. We all are impatient human beings. If we're not impatient, we will not make enough progress, but we can't be ridiculously impatient, right? We can't be impatient to a point that it damages our path or it damages our life. And when we do figure that out, then we have to take a step back. And again, just take a step back, move forward again, learn the lesson, untangle your knot, move forward again. Keep learning, man. Keep learning. And the more at bats you take, the faster you learn. I hope this was helpful to you guys, man. It was helpful for me to deliver this message because I think that we all go through those periods where we just want it faster. As Vicky said, we're all impatient. We're all guilty of being impatient. We're all in it together. But the power that we have is to come together in spaces like this where we can talk about that. We can feel normal. One of the reasons that I've joined coaching programs myself is that I started to feel less abnormal when I got around other people that thought like me, other people that were trying to do big things, other people that were trying to be the best husband and father and human being and salesperson and marketer and leader. When I got around those people, man, I felt a lot more comfortable. And so I hope this space creates that for you guys. I hope that you can look at the comments here and realize that you are not alone. That everybody experiences the same things. It doesn't go away with any level of success or education. Doesn't go away by having the right mentors. It can only get shortened. The period of time that you spend in those moments of adversity can be shortened by knowing where to go, having the right knowledge, having the right mentors, having the right people in your life that are going to snap you out of it when you need it. That's what this space is supposed to create for you, is supposed to provide for you. And so I hope it does. I hope that this message provided something for you, gave you some perspective this morning. And I'm wishing you an amazing week. I know that for sure I am going to have an amazing week because I got up this morning, man. My feet hit the floor, put my head in my hands. Thank God for all the gifts in my life. I started off the week just like I do every single morning, being thankful for the breath that's in my lungs and for the life that I get to live, for waking up next to my wife. We just celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary yesterday, looking around my house and seeing my beautiful children, the life that my wife and I have created intentionally. And I shared this morning on Clubhouse, but man, we were sitting at dinner the other night, and to finish with some perspective here, we were sitting at dinner and I looked at my wife and I said, "What's your favorite moments of the 7 years that we've been married? What's your favorite thing? You know, what is one thing?" And she said, "Man, I don't know that I can pick out one thing. But my favorite thing, my favorite memory is just the way that you look at me, the way that you tell me I'm beautiful every single day." And I share that with you guys because of the importance that we all have to do that for each other, right? It's strange to me that people wouldn't do that they wouldn't look at their spouse a certain way, that they wouldn't reinforce to them how much they love them and how beautiful they are, how much they appreciate them. So do that today. If you are married, do that for your spouse today. I was surprised by the answer, and I wanted to share that with you guys because I think that it is so important, right? And it's something that is natural for me, but it may not be natural for you. And so if it's not natural for you, make it a point to do that. Set reminders. Get in the habit of doing that, right? Fill other people up. That is the most important thing we can do, man, is see each other's gifts, recognize each other's victories and challenges, be there for each other, man. We just need each other now more than any period in history. These are tough times. Make sure that you are doing those things that make other people feel special. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.